Alright, I'm trying a little something new here. This is just temporary, but I put a clear hose on here, which is going from the lift pump to the injector pump. And I want to see if I'm getting air bubbles once this fills with fluid. I want to know if this is drawing air into it or not. Because if this is drawing air into it, I'm going to have to find the air leak, which is, it's on a vacuum, so it's a little more difficult than something pressurized because it's not going to be dripping, it's just going to be drawing an air bubble. So let's give this a try. I think I'm seeing air bubbles. Seems like after I leave that on for half a minute, it stopped getting air bubbles. So that's a good sign. Let's try this. There's no air in this. This is pressurized with fluid going to the pump, and I've tested the pump and it works with just a mild amount of pressure. Alright. So now I'm really confused because I was getting fuel out the injector pump. I'm getting fuel out of there with just gravity. But once I introduce the fuel pump, oh, I know what's going on. Sorry, the shutoff valve was turned to the side. So the shutoff valve has to be this way. Alright, it is shooting something out there. Whether it's a lot, it's hard to tell. I'm gonna try just put my hand close to it to see if I'm getting pressure. It's squirting out a bit, but there's no pressure. Alright, I feel like I have gotten nowhere. We're eventually gonna have to post this video. I've been at this for a while. Hence why there's been a long gap of no videos, because I wanted to get somewhere with this first. I'm kind of dumbfounded right now. Like, they tested that and said that it's actively working, and now I am getting a little spray of fluid out of that, but there's no pressure behind it. I can put my finger over it and stop it. Alright, we are back. So I did give up. I gave up and I looked for a mechanic here locally. I found one. He's coming in a couple days, and I was talking to my friend here, Thomas. You've probably seen him, Thomas, on Saganta YouTube channel, Bums on the Boat with Joel. If you watch that, you definitely know who I'm talking about. He has that big Boy Scouts ship here. He was picking some stuff up, and I was talking to him about this engine, and he kind of looked things over, and with a fresh set of eyes, asked me about my valve clearance, because I've put a new head gasket on, so that could change my valve clearance. And by having just that little bit of extra pressure on my valve could be enough to stop it from closing all the way. And that's why I'd be not getting any compression. Now, I've tried to test my compression here, but the compression tester wouldn't fit my engine, so I was kind of stuck on not being able to do anything about that, aside from ordering one on Amazon, hoping that those fittings would also fit. So I moved on from that and started trying other things, but now I'm going to revisit this valve gap. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the valve cover again, and we're going to do our best to rotate this engine to be at top dead center and check that out. Alright, so what I did is took out the glow plug, and I just put this little piece of wire in here to see where the cylinder is, and that looks like it's coming right up to the top. There's no markings on this flywheel, so I don't know where else to check for top dead center, but I'm going to move it a bit. I see that's going in further now. Oh, it's hard to do. Okay, you got the idea here. I gotta move the camera out of the way. But I'm gonna check the depth here where this hits the cylinder. I'm gonna put a fold in the wire like that, and then I'm gonna use two hands here, try to rotate it. See, that's further in right now. Let's back that up. I can actually feel air pushing out. Yeah, see, I got some slack on this one now, which is about right. Gonna get a marker here and mark this, and then we're gonna watch this a little bit faster. What I did there is I double checked it by moving a bit, but I got it to where I think was top dead center because it was the most slack on both of these. My exhaust one was definitely tight the whole time. It never got to a point of being loose. The manual says 0.16 to 0.2 millimeters for the gap. So what I did, because I'd rather have a little bit extra gap just to make sure these are really gonna close all the way and get that compression, I just went like 1 millimeter down from the largest amount. So like it said, from 16 to 20, so I went at 19. So I have that little tiny bit of play in them now. This way the valves are going to close all the way, and I think it's going to work a lot better because this definitely was compressed when I took it off. There was a constant tension on the exhaust. No matter what position I put the flywheel, there's always tension on here, and at one point it's always supposed to be loose. And that's how it was when I first took it apart. I guess putting on the new head gasket changed the thickness of everything a little bit, causing it to be tight when it's not supposed to be tight. It has to be that little bit of clearance, because as the engine warms up, that clearance disappears and everything gets tighter. So you want to have it so it just works when it's cold, and when it heats up, it basically that clearance disappears. And we're going to go ahead and put this all together right now. I think I'm going to give it a test drive. So let's see, fingers crossed. I mean, we've done this many times, never had any luck yet, but maybe this is the one. It's 8 o'clock at night, or maybe 7 o'clock at night. Our friends are leaving for the Bahamas today that we sailed with for the last 3 years, Lala. So we're gonna have them over for a going away beer tonight after they've had dinner, hoping I can bring some good news to the table when they get here and say, hey, I fixed my engine problem that I've been working on and off for the last 8 months or 10 months or however long this has been. Hence the long break we took off of uploading. We've had nothing else really to do but show engine videos of doing this. Go ahead and comment if you're a mechanic what I'm doing wrong. I'm not ashamed to say that I like to learn. If I'm doing something wrong, I'd love to hear the right way to do it so I don't do it wrong again. Just keep in mind, always doing it here in a very tight space. Make sure I didn't leave this thing loose. I think I had that tightened. Yep, I left that tight. Go to the other side now and see if something happens. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to turn into be a long run of series if I film everything, but we have an update. It's a big update. So I got the mechanic here, a diesel mechanic, to come to Liveaboard and check things out. He opened up the valve cover and he could visually see that my exhaust valve was not closing all the way. When I watched it, I could see the valve rocking back and forth, but apparently it was not going all the way in. The push rod was preventing it from going all the way in. And he loosened it up. He worked it back and forth by turning the engine over and then tapping it in with a hammer, then turning the engine a bit, tapping it with a hammer until he got it freed up enough that the engine would start. But then that almost immediately brought us to a new problem. The engine shuts down after about 10 seconds. So as soon as the engine warms up, the engine shuts down. So what he said is something is not lubricating inside. So what I'm thinking, because of the scum you've seen in the earlier video, the scum that we had in there when I took off the head, you could see all that scum inside the cylinder. I think some of that scum got somewhere inside the engine and is plugging some sort of oil port. Like something is stopping it from lubricating properly, so the engine just immediately overheats and shuts down, like it shuts down fast. So I've went ahead and removed the big alternator part that was right here, and I'm just removing this plate here, and then I'll show you what it looks like inside, because that should show you, technically this is the bottom of an engine because it lays sideways. So I'm going to open this up and we'll see inside. And the one nice thing I found here, nice surprise, is I found the actual model label for this engine. It was behind the alternator, so you actually had to unbolt that to get to the information plate. Now, I've never seen that. I thought this was an EA300 from everything I could find online, but it's actually an EA330-ET01. And there's some other interesting information on there. We'll upload a picture. If you want to see that information, let me know. But let's get started. Let's get this guy opened up and I'll show you what it looks like inside. Okay, I've got it open now. See if I can get the camera over there. This is the inside of the engine, and what I'm going to use is I have a little endoscope. So I'm going to do a recording of that, and we're going to look right inside there. Okay, I want to make a quick update. So I have the bottom off of this engine now, and I have the head off. And with the head off, I thought I was getting compression right about here and I could force it through it. But now that I have the piston head off, there is definitely some sort of friction right when the piston gets to that point. This moves easy, it gets to that point, and it's sticky. And if I push through it, it kind of jams and I need 2 hands to turn that again. So there's something definitely going on with the piston or the sleeve. Probably very difficult to put a new sleeve in here. I might be able to hone that out. Yeah, I guess that is my next step. I'm going to disconnect this piston from the crankshaft on the other side, and then I'll be able to pull it out through the top of the engine here. There it goes. All right, there is the piston coming out in real time. We're going to inspect this. There's a couple of shards inside there. Thought this had 3 rings. I thought there should be 3 rings in this. I only see 2, and they don't feel terribly loose. So let's get this out of here and take a better look. So I've not dealt with a lot of pistons since high school, but from what I remember, these pistons stick out and they're kind of loose, and you have to compress these to fit inside the cylinder walls. None of these move. There's some goop in between here, which I can clean off. Look at, there's goop in between the rings, which I can rub off, and these rings are definitely stuck. I'm gonna look into now how to free these up. So these piston rings are definitely tight. They do not move, and what I'm gonna try here is seafoam. I only have maybe a couple of ounces left of this, so I'm hoping it gets high enough to get to the level of those rings. Just gets to the top one, so I think we're okay now. So I'm going to leave this soaking overnight, and we'll see if that frees up in the morning. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you next week.